We are live on episode 207 of the Voluntary Viewing podcast, coming to all of you on December 4th, 2022. Ryan teed this one up a little bit. Ryan's got a little bit of a doozy.
Oh yeah, do we need to say who we are and stuff? Or is it just like, fuck it?
Ryan Holtz coming at you with a doozy.
Oh, this might take a little bit. So also Andrew's here. Andrew Clark.
Hey.
He's married and drinking Guinness. And
what you
Lucas
do.
the writer.
Great start to the marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gained 40 pounds and a beard.
Oh wow. You had a beard. But anyway. When's the last time y'all saw the movie Coco, the Pixar movie?
I saw it on your couch in Los Angeles 3 years ago.
I was going to say it's been a year or two.
Here you go. Well, last night, me and Angel watched the movie Coco. I may or may not have been under the influence of illicit substances. Ooh. So when I put in the planning doc, Ryan's Coco high notes, it doesn't mean great moments from Coco. It means about a quarter of the way through the movie, Ryan was like, oh my God, I'm seeing this movie in a whole different way. I need to write these thoughts down. They're too important to not be transferred, and just they'd be forgotten if I didn't write them down. So I'm going to write down in explicit detail what's going through my brain while I watch the movie Coco High.
Ryan, before we get too far into this, I didn't know what this was when I was looking through the planning document. I Googled Coco High, and I fully expected you to talk about the premium melted chocolate beverage, not the better direction this is going in. So bring it on, please.
Yeah, no, Coco is potentially my favorite Pixar movie. One of my favorite movies ever made.
It's really
glorious
good.
Movie. Unbelievable top to bottom. That being said, watching it high does change it for you.
Yeah.
I titled my notes, I really tried my absolute best to make things clear because I genuinely believe in these ideas, but I bet it's funny anyways and I sound like a maniac. Because I was absolutely blitzed and it was like a struggle to type the words, and I was so nervous that like I would wake up and not remember and be like, what the fuck is this note that doesn't make any sense? I do think I captured the essence enough that I do remember what was going through my brain on all of these. But I just want to hear y'all's opinions on my glorious notes, some of which I still agree with, some of which maybe I was pushing a little bit. But yeah, so let's kick it all off. Got a little Inception-y. Where do the people who died in the Land of the Dead go? Is there another layer of Land of the Dead? And really, the people in the Land of the Dead Prime should be making ofrendas to their friends who died to make sure they're not forgotten in Land of the Dead Squared, the like deeper Land of the Dead. Like, why would they just disappear forever? Why wouldn't there be another layer of
I mean,
there is no afterlife, Ryan. Science has yet to prove it.
Science has yet to prove it, but they don't have science in the Land of the Dead as far as I'm concerned, as far as I notice.
It's magic. I mean, isn't the rule just it's in the land of the living, the last person that remembers you is basically what seals your fate? I mean, I think it's not that they didn't account for that. They just said like, the people in the Land of the Dead don't count because magic reasons.
No. I mean, like, after, like, for example, the man with the guitar, I don't remember his name. He's the only one that we watch get forgotten in this movie.
Yeah.
Once he is forgotten, how do we not know that he doesn't go to another Land of the Dead? And his friends who are also being forgotten should be making ofrendas to him so that he can exist in the Land of the Dead Squared, the deeper layer of Land of the Dead. Like, he can continue existing there. Because what if they're just like subjecting these people to like continuous layers of torment,
right?
And they don't realize they just keep getting forgotten in every successive layer, and they go like dozens and dozens of layers deep into Land of the Deads, and no one's remembering them until they're just like ad infinitum, you know?
That is a fantastic question, Ryan. I'm gonna just be a nerd right out of the gate. There's a lot of anime that takes place in like some version of the afterlife. also never answered there. Also never addressed how, oh yeah, these people died and are going on adventures, but then they can also die, and I guess it's for real this time.
Yeah.
Like,
no, exactly. At the very end of the movie, Ernesto de la Cruz gets crushed by a bell. So it's like it's not only that you can die when you're forgotten in the overworld.
You know, you are still
just
mortal
die.
in a sense.
Yeah, you can still die. Although at one point Coco runs into one of his uncles and he like spills into a bunch of bones in a way that would kill someone.
right.
But like he just kind of puts himself back together. So it's like you're definitely more flexible, like it's kind of magic.
What if De La Cruz does not die when the bell
he's
falls
just crushed by a bell?
Yeah, and then people are like, yeah, fuck that guy, and he'll like eventually get out, and then people just won't like him.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we never saw that he is dead in the land of the dead.
Yeah,
it's
no, they didn't like
implied.
string him up by a lamppost.
Right. That's interesting. No. But yeah. So yeah, anyways, that was the first note. Got a little existential with it, and it only gets deeper. Oh, also, I mentioned very briefly, there's no science in the land of the dead. There's kind of not any jobs in the land of the dead, except for variations of cops. Those are the only jobs in the land of the dead. Like there's like immigration officer, there is security guard, there is bodyguard. You know, like cops are pretty much the only job in the land of the dead, which is kind of fucked up.
There's ice in purgatory.
Yeah,
no, exactly. La Migra is where they go when they first enter it to like be reunited and stuff like that.
Okay, so I don't want to derail your high notes too much, but you know,
derail away. We don't have anything
so cops and cop adjacent jobs are the only jobs that exist. What are they there for? Because we've established that it's not like they don't like keep bad people out. De La Cruz is a murderer. He should go to hell, but he's still in the same general pool of people as everyone else. So they don't discriminate based on moral value there. No. Like what the fuck is their job?
So, okay, hear me out on this one. Only defense I will ever make of cops. If this is a world where in fact everyone is immortal under the circumstances that can happen in that world. I know they can be forgotten by the people in the land of the living and then super die that way. But if there's no way for people to kill or really even harm each other outside of for comedic effect, like there is no naturalistic social order. Like there is no social contract between people because we cannot harm them. I could see in this society, in this universe, there needing to be people whose job it is to like, hey, we can't prisoner's dilemma ourselves in situations anymore since there are no consequences, but we got to have some kind of structure. And that is where a pseudo police force might emerge.
Yeah, but it kind of seems like this is more or less a utopia. Like there is no social construct or like.
I have a note for that, and I don't know if we want to go straight to that one or if we want to stick to like chronological.
No, let's go chronological.
Order of the movie. Okay, well we're gonna get to hierarchy. Don't you worry. You think that a high socialist isn't going to come up with some ideas about hierarchy in the movie Coco? Anyways, the great grandma who's like, you know, the matriarch of the family and everything like that is a literal monster. She was willing to let her great grandson fucking die in real life, get taken away from his family, who is her family, just so that he wouldn't play music. Like, holy shit, like I get the context of the movie. She's like unbending and harsh, but like that's so far beyond that. Like she is killing this kid by not giving him her blessing. And like there's even a scene, because I get it, like right away you're like, oh, you wouldn't expect him to run away. Like she was thinking he would just take the exception, go home, whatever. She wouldn't expect that he would try to escape and like get out of her way. There is a moment where she comes face to face with him again and starts singing to him to be like, look, I loved music, but it betrayed me. Please, like, go back to the living and abandon music. Like, when that didn't work, she should have been like, all right, you call my bluff, go. Like, go back to the fucking land of the living. I'm not insane. I'm not going to murder you in real life. Like, I'm not going to let you go away. Go back to your family, play music. Maybe one day I'll try to convince you, like, to not do this shit. But, like, now's not the time. You need to get back to your family. It's very important. Like,
Dude, these people are dead. They know what the afterlife is. Death is not a consequence.
well, I have a note on that too. That's actually next, but yeah.
You know what? Counter argument. Have you seen what Spotify with Bandcamp payouts are currently? Maybe she was right. Maybe she was saving
right.
the kid from a lot of heartache.
Isn't that that's the whole point of the movie, right? Is that she is right. Being a musician is not a practical like source of income for your family and everything like that, but that doesn't make it like any less like important to have dreams and everything, you know? Of course she's right, but he's a kid and she, like he wants to play music and she's like, I hate music so much, I'm willing to kill you. Like I literally have a gun to your head and I'm essentially pulling the trigger because you want to play music. Like that's really fucked, you know?
I'm chalking that one up to generational trauma, might make people make irrational decisions, but I understand where maybe she is not as a likable grandma as what some of the advertising for that movie made it seem. I will give you that.
So up next, talking about how the afterlife is a paradise and like maybe it would be a favor for him to die and join the afterlife. When you think about it, kids in the land of the dead is just inherently really depressing because of those kids fucking died. Like they're dead. That sucks. Kids shouldn't die.
Yeah.
Let's add in the layer now of these kids are still kids in the land of the dead. They are permanently frozen in development.
Yeah, no,
they are
don't
trapped in the body
up
of a 9-year-old for eternity. They will never become a fully realized and actualized adult person because, and like, you might say like, oh, well, you know, not Coco, Miguel is basically the only like source of what a kid is like in the land of the dead. There's a moment right when they're crossing the rainbow for the first time where a kid's pointing at Miguel and it's a dead kid, and the mom who's with them, which is also depressing when you think about it, like, oh, mom and kid probably died together. But anyway, the mom's like, don't point, but then she's like, oh my god, it's a living child, this is fucked up. So like, unless that kid died like a year ago, like kids don't really grow up, and that's that seems like a flaw. That seems like they could just make it where everyone becomes an adult. It's magic, you know. Like probably shouldn't have eternal kids in this world.
Okay, flip side of that, the people that die of natural causes in their late 80s and aren't feeling good, like, that's also fucked up. They're
that's in there.
That's
in there.
Well, my nearest point of comparison for that point, Ryan, what we do in the shadows, they've done it both ways in that one. Now that I think we're like, who's the asshole who turned this baby into a vampire? That's not cool.
Yeah.
This is just an unaging baby. But then the most recent season,
right.
Yeah, they did have, they look like children, but they're 900 years old.
Yeah, they're 1,000-year-old vampires, like anime.
Totally.
It's okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's fucked up. I don't know. That's what I wrote. Maybe it doesn't hold that well, but it is a thing. All right, let's talk about some hierarchy, baby. I just wrote socialist movie, period. That's how I open this note.
Yes.
The billionaire class gets more ofrendas than they know what to do with when they're the ones who don't need any help. The poor people who are like being forgotten are the ones that need the assistance. Like there's a lot of like pretty obvious subtext of like when Ernesto de la Cruz is taking Miguel through his mansion because he has more ofrendas than everyone else and like basically just gets whatever he wants because of kids like Miguel, who like there's a moment in the beginning where Miguel has like a whole shrine to Ernesto de la Cruz, which is essentially an ofrenda because he's a fan of his. So yeah, there's millions of people just like Miguel who have ofrendas to this guy who doesn't need to be remembered at all. Like he is 100% comfortable in the land of the dead. Like he gets everything that he wants and more. Meanwhile, and there's more than enough to go around. Like there is an excess there that is not being shared amongst, like the poorer classes who aren't being remembered. Like there's a lot of, inherent hierarchy there that is, as my next note will say, is not real, or not next note, but one of my next notes will say is A, not really addressed or solved by the end of the movie. And B, like, not necessary, but also like, I feel like said with like a bit of scorn, you know? Like there's something to be said for like, I don't know, Miguel's basically like an Elon stan on Twitter who's like coming to a billionaire's defense and like helping him out when he doesn't need that at all from you. Like your efforts could be spent so much better. Miguel didn't really care about his family like that much. He wasn't really into the ofrenda for his own family. But then he had his own private personal ofrenda to this essentially like dead billionaire who doesn't need any help at all. So there's something, I don't know, there's something there for sure.
Definitely.
Someone could elucidate better.
Maybe in an earlier draft, it was a little more heavy-handed.
It was 1-to-1.
They're like, oh, let's scale it back. We don't want to get too hard into the socialist Kool-Aid in this kid's movie.
It is Disney, after all.
I know writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards.
No such thing as socialist coded. I don't know.
Yeah, the grandma should have come in with a giant hammer, and the guy that he killed should have like decapitated him with a sickle.
Right. No,
I
exactly.
can say what Animal Farm was about, guys. Just animals having to go on a farm.
Everyone at Ernesto de la Cruz's Sunrise Jamboree should have been escorted into a basement and summarily executed by Bolsheviks. That's the only way to really do a kids movie.
It'd be fun. They don't actually die.
Yeah, wait. What's his name? He died in Mexico. Like the third Leninist guy. There was Lenin, Stalin. Oh, Trotsky. Trotsky died in Mexico. He could have been there.
Yeah. It's everyone who dies in Mexico. It's not Mexican nationals or people who recognize the heritage. It's if you die on Mexican soil,
yeah, dude,
you go to the Mexican land of the dead, which would be very disorienting and terrifying for tourists who are like murdered by cartel members.
Yeah.
They're just like, holy shit, dude.
Where's my family?
What is an Alebrije? That thing's a fucking dragon. I'm not comfortable here.
I'm mentally in the same place forever, so I'll never learn Spanish.
So like a surprising number of people fall off of cruise ships in the Gulf of Mexico and die every year. Do they get in, or is it like soil? Period.
No. If you die in international waters, you get to go anywhere.
You get your pick of the litter, huh?
Yeah. You can go to Chinese afterlife.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the best afterlife? Is it like Norse fucking Valhalla shit? Like, I genuinely don't know. Because let's be honest, the Christian heaven sounds boring as fuck.
Oh
like we can all agree on that front. And like,
is there even like an established idea of what Christian heaven is? Like, is that in the Bible anywhere?
Bible verses about it, like streets of gold and bullshit. And like when you ask your Sunday school teacher why it's not boring to just live in this paradise forever, they always go like, because you're going to be changed. You're not going to be you anymore. You're going to be like an afterlife version of yourself. That's totally cool with like existing forever in this boring place. And it's like, that sounds horrific. Like that sounds like against my will. My brain chemistry is being altered. I don't like that either. But anyway, all right, on to the next one. Ernesto de la Cruz literally could have offered to buy all of the songs from Hector and everyone would win. Like, he's an absolute psycho for straight up murdering him and stealing his songs. Like, Hector was essentially going home to his family. Like, there was he was done with music, you know? Like, Ernesto de la Cruz could be like, hey, buddy, I still really want to make a go of this. I think we're right on the edge and I'm not tied down by the same family obligations as you are. Like, I will buy that notebook off of you. I will give you a portion of like my proceeds, like forever. You will always have a spot in my band if you ever want to return. But like, I need your music. You know, I'm a good performer. I need the songs to perform. If you sell them to me, man, I think this is going to be a win-win for all of us. But he's just like, nah, fam, let's poison this bitch. Like, let's straight murder. Like, that's step A, is murder your best friend. Like, holy shit, dude.
64.
All I'm saying is I think he had other stuff going on. I don't think he needed the whole like music angle to need to murder his friend. I think he was ready to murder that friend.
Bro, we can Simon and Garfunkel this, bro. Come on.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, there's any sane, rational person would have had long, and like maybe the writers could add in a bit where he's just like, no, they're my songs. I wrote them for Coco. Like, I don't want you to have them. Anything. But instead, he's just like, you know what, friend? I love you. Cheers. You're poison. Like,
or at the very least, he would say like, all right, you go back to your family. You do what you need to do there. I'll keep traveling. Maybe you can mail me your drafts every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, just, well, I'll keep doing this. Yeah, like not even like I'll buy your shit, we'll work out a deal. Just like, hey, if you want to keep doing this, maybe just go back to your family and send me the music.
I will pay you handsomely if I become rich and famous. It will be no big deal.
He could have asked if he could just have them for free. He's like, hey, if you're done with this, could I like have those?
If you're giving up on music, I'm not. Like, we're best friends. Can you do me a solid? Like, yeah, no, anything.
Can you tell me if this drink tastes funny?
Yeah. Hey, buddy.
No. He agrees. He's like, yeah, man. Hey, we've been through a lot. Just daps him up. Like,
I got you, fam.
Yeah, you have the music. I'll send you my new drafts every like couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Cool. Just blows his brains out.
Has him sign a contract that says like, I own the rights to this music in perpetuity. Then just no witnesses. Yeah, no, I don't know. Just unhinged. Another aspect that I thought was unhinged. So then the next one is, the part about like how I don't think the movie addresses the main issue, which is people being forgotten and being super dead, as you put it, Lucas. Right. Like I wrote, the movie does not solve the main issue, which is that they could have functional immortality, but like instead it focuses on like Hector not being forgotten forever. Like, not these thousands of people living in slums that like are being forgotten forever every year. Like, that's the real tragedy. Not this one guy who was murdered by his best friend being forgotten. It's thousands of people who were in a car accident or got beaten to death by their spouse, or like all these other tragedies that like are being forgotten forever. Like, anyway, the movie. Oh, what are you saying?
No, I just thought about infant deaths. I just thought about that. Those kids, no, they're out of there.
Yeah,
oh, God.
No, they don't stand a chance. Absolutely. No. The movie should have been written in a way for people to not die permanently, and only then could it really have a happy ending, because thousands of people are dying permanently every year, which is a bigger tragedy. And yes, I'm terrified of death. I wrote that. But yeah, no, like in order to have a true happy ending, and a little later, I came up with the actual like ending that it should have been. I did Coco writers' jobs for them. They've already established the precedent of like, you can have conditional blessings. Like she said, as long as you promise to give up music, you have my blessing. And he takes it and he's like, sure, whatever, I don't care. And then goes back and immediately goes back on the condition and gets sucked right back to the land of the dead. Set up a goofy ass conditional blessing from a member of his family that allows him to kind of like pop in and out between worlds. He could stockpile photos from the land of the dead, from the people that are being forgotten, and then go back to the land of the living, put them on ofrendas. They're not forgotten. Like, no one dies anymore. Like, everyone has functional immortality. They live in a perfect utopia, like in a very fair and balanced society. Like, yeah, a lot of ofrendas are gonna have a lot of pictures, but like, no one has to die. Like, yeah, that could. And then I said, like, you could literally even have like a funny post-credits sequence of like Miguel breaking these conditions and like the goofiness and hijinks that like revolve around that, like a few little mini scenes, like, if you can return to the land of living if you promise to not to blink 3 times and say Milwaukee, like, like a fucking just random thing that's like a code word for him to pop back into the land of the dead and get some pictures, do whatever. Miguel could use it to affect the real world in a very positive way. He could go into the land of the dead and like interview murder victims and like find out what happened and like put bad guys away and shit like that. Like, there are so many implications from this power, and it's not really resolved. Like, it's just kind of, even if it's just once a year, even if only on the Day of the Dead can he pop back and forth, you get a lot done in one day. Like, you can
he's just got like a big laundry list of like, all right, I gotta go find Roberto and see if his wife actually cheated on him. I gotta go find,
he's like a PI.
It's
like 43-year-old Miguel. He's like divorced and he's just
he went full cop. Yeah,
he's a PI for hire in the overworld.
And as we had talked about previously, there are social institutions in the afterlife here. There are cops. Logistically, they could coordinate all of this for maximum effect.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's what I wrote down. Again, I brought it up, but I actually wrote it when I was high. I didn't realize. Why is anyone doing a job at all in the land of the dead? What's the motivation? It doesn't seem like they need any resources. And least of all, why are they all cops, immigration agents, and event security? Like, why is that the only people that we see not doing whatever the fuck they want? Like, I get it. It's a holiday. Maybe there's a huge infrastructure that we're not aware of because we only see it on like their Christmas, like their only day that
the other people aren't working. Or just normally nobody's working, and then they have to get like volunteers to do the security stuff because it's that one day.
Right.
Hear me out. Socialist utopia. This is just these people's passions. This is what they're doing.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, no, dude, they just really love keeping people from entering the afterlife.
They need to leave the land of the dead. They need to. This is not their party, man. And like event security. Like there's the climactic scene where Mama Imelda is walking around the stage as Ernesto de la Cruz is like chasing her, but they're singing a duet back and forth. And there's a bunch of like goons that are like following her and shit. And it's played for comedy, but like, why are there like 8 goon event security guys? Like,
okay,
what's their story? How did they die? What the fuck?
In my experience attending events and conventions, organizers, volunteers, security, a lot of people pick up those gigs because that's the only way they could get in there.
Oh, no.
Yeah. This is a universe with currency. So, maybe they're not remembered enough to afford the concert.
Oh, wait. Is there currency in Coco?
Right. It's kind of like Ofrendas. Like, what you get on your Ofrendas is kind of what puts you in the social hierarchy.
But we don't know what they do with that. Like, is Ernesto de la Cruz just paying people in cookies to do things for him?
We don't really understand that. Yeah, but like it's definitely implied that like that is wealth, that is currency being remembered, and like receiving things on an ofrenda every year is what like decides your social status in the land of the dead. So it's a little weird, but it doesn't seem like there's scarcity, like it doesn't seem like there's a lack of resources. So I don't know. And then last note before we all got off, because it was like kind of post climax. You talked about when old people like die of natural causes and then they're like eternally semi-suffering. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that you enter the land of the dead at the age that you died, because otherwise like all of Miguel's family died in like their 40s, which is weird. Like, why?
I kind of got the impression they were more like in their 60s.
Really?
Some of those people are definitely.
Some of them are a little older. Like the short uncle is like maybe a little older, but like
when he sees Coco at the end of the movie, she's definitely old Coco.
So that's what I am positing. When you look at the ofrenda that Miguel's family puts up, everyone looks like their picture. And they put up a very old picture of Mama Coco. And I'm like, they couldn't have found a younger picture of Mama Coco. Like, she has been subjected to being like 95-year-old Mama Coco for eternity.
There is
like, that's my theory, is that your picture determines what you look like.
So do you think that there's a guy who's like, he's 35, he's living it up, he's hot, he's going around, and then like all of a sudden like his great-great-granddaughter finds a picture of him when he's like old as fuck, and then he just gains 100 pounds and feels like garbage?
I don't know about feels like garbage. It seems like Coco's very happy, but like, yeah, at the end of the day, she is still trapped in a 95-year-old's body where like, from all accounts, people who are very old look in the mirror and are shocked. Like, they don't visualize themselves inside their brain as an old person. They still remember what they look like when they were young. Like, that's who you are in your brain kind of forever,
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that that's the way that you'd be forever semi-cursed. And like, I think that that's a strong theory, because when they go through immigration the first time going across the Rainbow Bridge, they are scanning their faces for their pictures on ofrendas. and like they need to match. So like, yeah, if you looked like a 40-year-old and your picture was of you when you're 80, it wouldn't match, and like you wouldn't be able to go. So I think you are what your picture is, and I'm like, boy, then his family really did her dirty by putting this really old picture of her on the ofrenda, and they really could have found one where she was more in her prime. Like, sad. And what happened to people before pictures were invented? Like, the Day of the Dead is a very old tradition. Mm-hmm. You couldn't always have pictures of people on the ofrendas. Like, how does that work?
I feel like we do have kind of something analogous in American culture. If somebody served in the military dies, I feel like without fail, there is a picture of them in their early 20s in uniform at their funeral. Right. Like without my grandfather, well, like, yeah, no, I'm of an age where everyone's grandfather like was in the army for a year or two. When he died, yeah, no, they absolutely had a picture of him up in the background in uniform. And if that's the case, do you get to choose then? Like, if you got a couple of pictures up, can you like, you know what? I'm feeling 45 this week. I'm gonna midlife crisis it for a while.
You're out, you're hitting the bars with your hot skeleton friends, and then all of a sudden someone's like, hey, next weekend, are you able to like help me move a couple couches, like stuff like that? And then you just switch to 90 years old. You're like, I'm sorry, my back's been going out lately. Right. I can't.
I will say there's a bit of an issue with Ernesto de la Cruz in particular, as someone who has all these ofrendas. Like, he lived in theory, like at least 20-year long career in the public eye. So he does have like kind of in theory a lot of different pictures of him on all of these ofrendas. So yeah, does he get to be a shapeshifter? Does he get to exist in all of these worlds simultaneously? I don't know how it works.
How did he die in the?
He gets crushed by a bell. Yeah, okay. He gets crushed in both. Yeah, that's
that's right. That's the joke.
Oh, this is a double beat, huh?
Yeah, well, call back. However you want to look at it. All right. Righteous comeuppance because he's a piece of shit. Yeah, that's it. That's all my high notes. I stand by most of them.
Those are good notes.
I did not think we would spend half an hour talking about a movie that came out in 2018 to start out this podcast, but hey, I'm glad we did it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. It's not great that Final Fantasy 16 is rated mature for sex scenes and hate crimes.
What the fuck?
Hate crimes.
Are you serious?
So when I read this article, when I saw this news story, this is a direct quote of the Kotaku article by Isaiah Colbert, by the way. My immediate reaction, having read a previous news story about how there aren't black people in the game because of like bogus, it's set in European Middle Ages, kind of. We gotta keep that aesthetic, and minorities aren't congruent to that, which is garbage and widely disproven. Against who? Who are the hate crimes against if there aren't people of different races in this game?
Yeah.
Do we know what the hate crimes are and who they're against?
No, it's unknown. Just know that it's they are extreme enough to merit a mature rating.
I don't think I've ever seen that note on a video game rating before. Even though, like, yeah, ostensibly there's been tons that have been like, we're going to wipe out this group of people. It doesn't even have to be analogous to real world ethnic cleansing.
Sometimes it is, like Wolfenstein is literally like Nazis doing Nazi stuff.
Yeah, no, the Holocaust happened
pull more
in that
Nazis.
game.
Is that not hate crimes?
That is hate crimes.
Seems a little hate crimey.
It's a bit. It was a slow news week. That was the only traditional news I had on here. U.S. men's national team in the World Cup beat Iran and then lost to the Dutch. Do we got thoughts? Do we got feelings on this?
That seems about right.
Yeah, that's about where we are in the world of soccer right now.
Yeah, like, better than Iran, worse than the Netherlands.
Yeah, we're not a powerhouse. We were never gonna win, but like, we're all right.
Well,
we can have some entertaining games. We can tie England, who like might have a legit shot of winning the whole thing. Like, you never know. But yeah, no, Netherlands are one of my favorite teams. I have a lot of Dutch players on my FIFA Ultimate team. So I was kind of like, oh no, Danjuma, don't do us like this. Virgil van Dijk, come on.
I do have a take. About the Dutch team, about the Dutch players, if I can express that here.
Memphis Depay, what did he ever do to you?
So I know it was pretty widely talked about, reported on, that the Dutch players are going by first names, largely due to player preference, largely due to a number of them not having great family lives, not having great relationships with the people they inherited their last name from. As someone with a Dutch last name, they're just bad. Those names are bad, and I can understand why they would not want to brand themselves by them on the world stage.
I feel like most of them aren't as traditional Dutch names because a lot of them are Black immigrants.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them
like
are
in
like,
a lot of European soccer countries.
Maybe some of them are like Dutchified, you know, like a more traditional name, like Adetokounmpo turning into Antetokounmpo, like when they migrated to Greece. Like, but yeah, I don't know how much of them are super traditional. I will say Memphis Depay is one of my favorite names. He's a Dutchman. He's pretty damn good.
Memphis Depay.
Yeah, his first name's Memphis. That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Depay is. There's no De Ruyters, believe it or not. I don't even know if there's any De Ruyter soccer players.
Ooh.
But yeah.
No, I don't. Well, no, my dad's side of the family, we are not built for that. We're not built for soccer. I get my cardio from my mom's side.
Oof.
Seems like we have a late addition to the film news. Indiana Jones 5 trailer? What?
Yeah, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. They're doing it again, trying to wash the taste of the Crystal Skull out of our mouths after, like, what, 15 years? How long has it been?
Jesus,
it's been a while.
7th grade, yeah.
Yeah, fuck me, man. Oh God, what a bad movie. So yeah, I watched the trailer. I really, really liked Indiana Jones as a kid, and and then I saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it did ruin it for me. So I am hoping that this is at least okay and can make me feel decent about the rest of the movies. Either of you guys see the trailer?
Don't do trailers generally. What? Give us some beats. I'm not the biggest Indiana Jones fan. I've seen the first 3 once. Like,
the trailer was a lot of nostalgia of like old versions of the characters from the first 3 movies, going like, man, we kind of wish there was another adventure. And then they're like, what if there was another adventure? And then
interesting.
I think they're bringing back Nazis as the bad guys again. So that's always fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So no George Lucas or Steven Spielberg involvement
though? I thought Steven Spielberg was involved. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't see her on the world. So, I don't know. But
James Mangold.
Is Shia LaBeouf?
No.
Darn.
No. Thank God.
Who's the new, like, he's gonna be Indiana Jones? I'm assuming there is one, right? Or no?
Not that they've talked about.
Huh. They're just gonna have 90-year-old Harrison Ford doing Indiana Jones shit.
Yeah. I mean, there's also a couple of shots that look like there's a guy like flashbacks to young Indiana Jones with digitally de-aged Harrison Ford's face.
Oh boy. So we're gonna get God, what was the
Irishman
Scorsese movie? Yeah, The Irishman with Harrison Ford.
No.
A really old man with a young face.
I think this is just a 30-year-old dude that they digitally put Harrison Ford's face on. The Irishman was actual old Robert De Niro with young Robert De Niro's face.
That's what was interesting. I don't know.
How, as a society, does it feel like we have talked about The Irishman both too much and not enough?
It was not a good movie. It was a bad movie that got overhyped. It got Oscar buzz when it definitely did not deserve it, just because it was a Scorsese movie. And the fact that it was on Netflix, I don't know. some people thought that was like a turning point for streaming, and it wasn't.
If I recall correctly, Scorsese also framed it against Marvel films. Like, this is a real movie compared to those.
I don't know if he framed that one specifically against Marvel movies. He just has kind of every couple of 6 months popped in and been like, by the way, Marvel movies aren't real. They're fake. And then, yeah.
Don't count. Fake film.
It does seem like Phoebe Waller-Bridge is being set up to kind of be the Shia LaBeouf, like,
the young
Indiana
woman.
Jones in waiting. He's like, I'm his goddaughter.
Oh, I thought you meant like literally like who is going to play Indiana Jones next.
No.
Okay.
No, I think that they do have like his young apprentice.
Yeah,
who will
the
take
successor.
over the mantle.
Yeah. No, there's that for sure. I don't know if they're planning on then like continuing on with the movie series.
God, Disney. If you
it doesn't have
Disney,
to.
how many gender swaps can you get away with? You're just like, instead of making a cool story about a woman archaeologist, let's have her be Indiana Jones's goddaughter.
I mean, by the sound of it, they got the Bob who will at least acknowledge there are more than two genders back in power. So can we get a non-binary Indy after this? It'd be fun.
Jesus.
It's Indy Jones, INDI Jones.
Ooh, there you go.
Love it. Andrew, what are the odds this movie acknowledges that Indiana Jones is robbing cultural tombs and stealing artifacts from existing
No fucking
societies?
Chance, no fucking chance. I mean, it would be so awesome if, like, Indiana Jones is given his college lecture that he's clearly not happy doing, and a guy jumps up and go like, how come this stuff isn't in the countries it originated from? Like, why is all this Egyptian stuff in Chicago? why are all these African artifacts in New York? And then that would be awesome, but they won't do that. And
then do a reverse Indiana Jones, and he has to
he's
dodge governments and red tape to put things back.
Yeah, no, he's robbing museums to then fly them back to their country of origin.
Not even the country of origin, to the tombs, to the back. Like he's all the the hard part is escaping these like modern democratic countries with stolen artifacts and putting them back in these tombs where all the booby traps have already been sprung, and he's just like walking through the tomb pretty easily, putting things back there.
Their motivation here is not about land back and bringing artifacts back to the country of origin. It's the reason the world sucks is because there's thousands of curses going on right now, and he has to return them to the tombs to get the curses to go away. And after 80 years of toil, the world will be perfect.
It'll be a utopia.
All right, listen, man. This one just need a couple of crowbars to unlodge the boulder from the entrance. Like, okay, blow darts, no problem, taken care of. That pit, like, man, I jumped a bigger pit in the third movie. No issue here.
I think after he returns it, he's going to have to reset the booby traps so that no one can steal it. And then bring the curses back.
No, he's just bringing like hundreds of bags of cement,
stealing it up.
No, not even bags of cement. Yeah, just like pulling up a truck and filling it so that no one can get at it again.
Now that I have all of the artifacts, I can just weigh them and make a bag of sand of an equal weight. I don't have to eye it up anymore.
Yeah, I think he would be like the white hat hacker. Like, he is beaten all of these things, so he knows how to make a really good booby trap. Like
he's making
he's
new
on the
ones.
Inside. He is absolutely like sixth sense for what makes a good booby. He is murdering adventurers left and right. He is responsible for the death toll in the hundreds. Like, he's so good at these.
5 years from now, a bunch of tomb robbers are gonna go and like all right, the ancient Incas use these poison darts, so make sure you keep
Yeah.
out of the light. And then he steps forward and just is chopped in half with a laser.
Yeah, right. There's just a fucking fingerprint scanner, and
Yeah.
he goes for it, and just like literally spliced in half by a fucking gene emulsifier, and he's just like
Melted.
Yeah. My code is wrong. I'm being irradiated. This doesn't seem like they would have access to this technology.
Actually, I don't remember where were the tablets with the 10 Commandments on them originally located in the Indiana Jones universe?
Like, where did they get them from?
Yeah.
Fuck, were they in Tunisia?
Okay.
It was Northern Africa. But...
Okay.
Yeah.
That tracks, actually. Okay, fair. Huh.
I definitely want to see some of the traps. I think that Indiana Jones would go full Havana syndrome on some archaeologists and just like microwave beam emitter. They're just puking everywhere. And they're just like, the curse is real. Blah. And he's just like, well, look, however you want to think of it.
He's setting up like a radar dish, and they're like, so will this like, like keep the, will this like, kill people? Like, no, but it'll make them shit their pants.
It'll be really embarrassing, and they'll
want to leave.
I want to find out where these tablets came from too. Where are they canon?
This trap, the only way to survive is to get into a refrigerator filled with snakes.
Whoa, yeah. He's really good at devising booby traps for himself and everyone else.
Yeah,
like,
no, he got Joe Rogan. He's just doing a bunch of Fear Factor shit.
They don't say where the tablets are from in the Indiana Jones wiki, so I don't know, Lucas. You gotta get on it.
Oh no, they're in Egypt because they go to Cairo, and then
wait, why would they?
Were they stolen?
So
by the
Noah
Egyptians?
was like, so Noah went back at some point and was like, "Well,
did they ever get
back
out
where I got them from?"
Did they ever get out of Egypt? Like when the Jews left Egypt and they traveled for however long they were supposed to have traveled until Moses found the tablets. Where were they?
They were in the desert. Didn't Moses like hit a rock and it like water came out of it and shit? There was like miracles happening, I'm pretty sure. I think there was like a snake and he like grabbed it.
But like
and
the desert,
into, like,
that's a big
food.
desert. Like they could have been in like Nigeria.
Right. Okay, so the Ark of the Covenant is that is the 10 Commandments. Like it holds the 10 Commandments in this.
Mm-hmm.
They were smashed by Moses around 1400 BC. They put him in a chest. They settled in Canaan, placed in the Temple of Solomon until the Egyptian pharaoh raided the temple and took the ark with him. So there you go.
Yeah. And I think they say that all in the movie. The thing that I don't understand is that when the Nazis open it up later, they're really pissed off to find that the tablets are like broken and they're like dust. Mm-hmm. But like you said, that's in the story that he smashed the tablets and put them in this box.
Right. Wait, but did the characters know that?
I don't know. Like they say everything else that was in the Bible.
Wait, what kills them then? If the
power
tablets
of God.
are broken. Oh.
But I mean, like again, like the tablets have been broken this whole time.
Yeah.
And the Ark of the Covenant is basically used as like a nuclear bomb by the armies of Egypt and shit for however long. And that's why the Nazis want it, because it's a weapon. And they open it up and ghosts kill them and blow up their heads.
Yeah. I love that Indiana Jones as a series is just, man, there was so much Nazi murder per minute, really, really efficient at that. A lot of bang for your buck.
Gave Quentin Tarantino a run for his money.
Right?
Yeah. It's red-blooded American for sure.
Also,
there's
also maybe doing a little good PR for the Nazis, because Nazis were definitely into that occult shit. And like this movie makes it real. This movie makes it seem like the Nazis were onto something.
The Nazis were evil, but they weren't wrong.
Yeah, right. Maybe they were right about some other things. Don't go that way. Come on now. That's not what
Oh, who
Steven
wrote
Spielberg
this
wrote
movie?
because-
Kanye?
Yeah, Jesus
Fucking
Christ.
hell.
No, there was a recent Behind the Bastards episode about like right-wing radio talk show hosts and like how they gave rise to Rush Limbaugh and people like him. And the Orange County Register, which is like kind of a right-wing leaning newspaper in Orange County, California, kind of talked about this right-wing radio host from Orange County who would like get in fights with Nazis a lot, but he was like a conservative guy. But you know, this is like the 80s, so or the 70s. So it's like, you're a fucking Nazi. We beat your ass. And he fought in World War II and shit. So it's like,
okay.
I hate Nazis. And like this article's from like last year from the Orange County Register, and it's like, you know, it's kind of nice seeing Republicans really disavow Nazis, like with no ifs, ands, or buts, not needing to be like, oh, both sides. Like, as a Republican, it's nice to see Republicans just saying, no, fuck Nazis. I will punch a Nazi. I don't give a fuck. Like, instead of the like, well, we should treat people as humans. Like, they have a right to exercise their freedom. And it's like, yeah.
You're
Yeah,
not
I feel
doing
like
that.
right. I feel like if socialists started going like, man, if every socialist was a tanky and just fucking like, Stalin was in the right, man. Like we gotta be like, yeah, I don't know about this one, guys. This is kind of rough.
You sure he was right about everything? Like everything?
Yeah, dude. Even Alex fucking Jones.
That was so great.
Yeah, when he
so
had Kanye on, he's like, "You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. All these people are trying to say that you're a Nazi, and those are the liberals trying to get you down." And Kanye's like, "No, hold on. And what's wrong with Nazis, man?" He's like, "I love Nazis." And Alex Jones is like, "I'm gonna have to push back on that one."
It was more entertaining than it probably should have been for me to see Alex Jones squirm out of frame as he realized this footage is going to be shown when he tries to appeal the custody case that will allow him to see his kids again. He is in a situation that will be used against him. And that's hilarious.
I swear.
Yeah. All right, that'll take us into the breakouts. I watched Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Pretty good.
Should I watch it? Is it a Lucas stamp of approval?
I think it is a Lucas stamp of approval. Partly because it is free on the Roku channel, which is a thing that exists, apparently. The Roku channel.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. They're poaching everyone, baby. Every TV executive is getting poached by the Roku channel, and it's kind of weird.
Wait, like legit? You're not being...
Yeah.
Oh,
no, like people are like, oh, yeah, fuck this ABC job. I'm going to the Roku channel. Fuck Hulu. The Roku channel, baby. It's where it's
maybe they figured out like half the TVs in American households right now have Roku built into them.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something here.
I mean, it's just money. Like they're just like, oh, we'll give you 20% raise if you come make the Roku channel a big deal. So.
I won't get too far into spoilers for the movie, but there are a lot of cameos, and it entirely feels like people who just had a Tuesday available to come onto set and just like, yeah, you can be this person. We got like bad 80s costuming for you to try on. That's fantastic. The movie does start a little slow. It wasn't quite doing it until Daniel Radcliffe showed up and was Weird Al. One of the best, like, I don't even know if this is a joke because they don't talk about it at all. Like, they never acknowledge this. Daniel Radcliffe is shredded now. I think we all know this because we're nerds and pervs and whatever, and we know that Daniel Radcliffe is just fucking cock diesel right now. He is playing Weird Al. He is still shredded. And the movie just presents that this is what Weird Al looked like in his 20s. And God, there was a moment where my partner Maria and we watched it together. We both shouted at the screen at the same time, "Oh my God, his fucking cum gutters." It's
Jesus.
yeah, it's hilarious. Good movie, weird movie. I don't know if it's for everyone. This movie does present that the song "Beat It" by Weird Al, not a parody. He invented it first. He came up with that song, and it's Michael Jackson who actually ripped him off.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the marketing was like it's like an alternate reality, right?
Yeah.
Where like Weird Al was super fucking cool.
Yeah, like isn't
Yes.
it like all the studio executives are like trying to like get him, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're the next big thing."
No, actually,
Just
the studio,
clearly not what happened.
studio executives widely dismissive of Weird Al, actually. Including the studio executive that's played by the actual
By Weird
Al.
Right. I think I saw that.
Yeah. It's good. It's fun.
There you go.
Pablo Escobar is involved. Watch it.
There you go.
Ryan, have you checked out anything besides Coco Well High?
I don't know. Coco Well High sure does take up a lot of time. Me and Angel got through the Red Wedding in Game of
Ooh.
Thrones.
Oh, how'd you feel about that?
That was a lot.
That's when I lost Jade, when I tried to make her watch Game of
Oh.
Thrones. I
She
mean,
was like, I'm done. I'm not watching anymore.
No, she made it a couple more episodes. It was like halfway through season 4 when she's like, this show has really done a number on me emotionally. I think I'm gonna stop.
I mean, that is a scene where, like, depending on what kind of fan you were, like, everyone you cared about just died. So, like,
Not everyone, but I mean, yeah, like Rob and his mom,
Rob and Catelyn,
yeah,
and to a lesser extent his wife.
But like those were, Rob and Catelyn were big players in the show.
Right. Like, I'm saying, if you were a fan like that, oh yeah, this is the storyline I actually care the most about. These are my favorites. I could see them being murdered as like, time to pull the ripcord.
They actually didn't really have that much to do in season 3 now that we've been through it. They really they were dealing with internal turmoil with like the Karstarks because
they like
Catelyn
progress kind of stopped with the war because they were like dealing with shit.
Yeah, they had surprisingly not as big of a role as I thought. Yeah, I kind of thought like, no, they had a real shot. No, it was like Rob was throwing up a last second Hail Mary, and that's why they went to the Red Wedding in the first place. Is they were completely desperate and they knew that they were beat unless this crazy fucking move pulled off, and they didn't. So yeah.
Actually, if I recall correctly, they did have a shot, but Rob's like cousin like fucked up an offensive strategy, and like
his uncle was supposed to like hold his position. They were gonna like draw out the mountain's forces, and his uncle went, "No, I got him on the ropes," and then like chased him out of town. And then he was like, "Yay, I did it!" And then Rob's like, "No, we had a trap set. We would have killed all of them. You fucked it up."
Right. I mean, I don't think that was like the Starks would have won the war. If
no, it was
Edmure,
it was that
like,
battle.
Yeah, they would have won the battle and like defeated the mountain, which would have been something. But like, I think that it was like, no, that would have been just another, because they won that too. Like he never lost a battle, but he's losing the war. Like that's his whole thing. Because like, yeah, Catelyn's fucking setting free Jaime Lannister, and Rickard Karstark is murdering young Lannister boys, and Rob's murdering Rickard Karstark, and everything's fucked. And then everyone abandons them, and they're down to like half of their strength. And they're like, well, what if we take Casterly Rock? Then we win, right? And the only way we can do that is to get Lord Frey on our side again. And it's like, yeah, it was kind of a fucking Hail Mary. Like, I guess, yeah, sure, it could have worked, but they were on the ropes, that's for sure.
He could have gone independent. He could have done what the show ultimately did and just decide, yeah, you know what? The North, sovereign nation. We're fine. That's good enough for us. Anytime.
Yeah. I mean, the second that winter was over, they would have been invaded by the whole force of King's Landing. Like he knew that he wouldn't, unless he won a victory over like the forces that were pursuing him, they would never really be able to hold that.
Mm.
But yeah, nah. But it was interesting seeing everyone's or seeing Angel's reaction. I was waiting for that for a while. We just got through season 4, episode 1, which is when Arya and the Hound become a thing.
Ooh.
And I'm very excited because that was
Yeah.
great. It was the scene where they're outside the inn and like there's the Lannister guy that stole Arya's sword and stuff like that, and it's the if any more words come out of your cunt mouth, I'm gonna have to eat every fucking chicken in this room. Like, just I was like, when they first came up on the inn, I was like, ooh, like I had a better reaction. I had like a more anticipatory reaction to that than I did for like the Red Wedding or the Battle of Blackwater. Like the big, I was like, ooh, Arya and the Hound, like, let's go. This is a great little side plot. I love it. So
yeah, they didn't really do as much with that as I had hoped they did.
No, they
It
didn't.
was just one scene at the end where he's like, hey, you know how your whole story is revenge? Well, that's bad. I'm gonna go get revenge now.
I'm sunk cost fallacy though, so peace out.
Yeah. And you're totally not. Young girl who went to Bravos and became a faceless assassin and was temporarily blinded and forced to act as a beggar and then almost got killed by that faceless assassin group and then escaped. No sunk cost fallacy for you though. You're well adjusted now.
Go become Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
For some reason.
You'll get a spin-off unless the season is widely panned.
Ooh. The Hound like opened his eyes after being partially gouged out, saw the ratings for the show, and then jumped into the fire.
Yeah. I'm out.
Andrew, what are you checking out?
On my own, nothing.
Oh.
Nothing. It's been busy, man.
Huh.
You know, married life, all that stuff.
Yeah, you guys are going to like charity dinners and shit?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like a regular fucking aristocratic couple.
What charity?
It's a local charity called RCC to support like victims of sexual violence.
Oh.
Jade's employer was a sponsor, and so they wanted to send someone like to the event. So then it was us. It wasn't a dinner. It was a Gatsby like cocktail thing.
Gatsby.
Yeah.
Like literally I pictured you guys with like cigarette holders and
no,
like
we
cocktails.
we didn't dress up like Gatsby. We just dressed nice. Which is what most people did. Some people went all out and wore like flapper dresses and striped suits and weird hats and shit. A lot of people got real drunk and were like fucking with the DJ's station and cranking the music. And Jade won and like we did a raffle thing because it was like the money goes to charity and they had like sponsors with the gifts. Jade won something from the raffle and it's stuff from the spa that she works at as her second job.
Yeah. What are the odds?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this charity was Gatsby themed?
The charity event. Yeah, the party was Gatsby themed. It was a fundraiser and like the people that put it on donated a bunch of money to this group. And then, yeah.
Knowing the themes of Great Gatsby.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
for charity for like violence against women. Could have.
It was weird. Also,
I was going to ask, did they use the word Gatsby or was it like this is Roaring 20s themed?
I think they used the word Gatsby. I think it might have been called the Gatsby Gala or something like that. And also the music was like early aughts hip hop.
Oh, there's a lot of women bashing in that then, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh boy. A lot of DMX. Ooh. Did not age very well.
Yeah, there was some Little John in there.
There you go.
Did Blurred Lines get an encore?
No.
Right.
Okay.
It did not get played. Thank
the
God.
timing is off on that one. Nobody at me in the comments. I know that was a hit of like 2011. The point still stands.
I think it might have been later than that.
Man.
Yeah, we were in high school. Like
2013.
End of high school.
Wow.
Yeah, 2013.
That song's not even a decade old.
Fuck. Feels like it's been around forever. And anyway, yeah, we did that. Yesterday we went up back home because my sister, who recently had a baby, had a baby open house at my parents' place because everyone wanted to see, I would like to see the baby. Everyone wanted to see the baby. So they said, fuck it, let's just get it done in one go so we don't have to prepare for company 3 weeks in a row. And that was fun and also a nightmare. And I'm worried the baby's going to get sick because there were a lot of kids running around.
Right.
Yeah.
So, would it be appropriate to ask you a question about the process of your sister giving birth on a podcast?
Yeah, it would be.
Okay. I will not then. I apologize. I apologize for even broaching the idea. Baby open that. All right. Yeah. Okay.
It's the only word I could think
Right.
of. I think my mom might have called it that also. It was her idea. It's a good idea in theory, just logistically of like they had been, day after day after day, like, okay, now this aunt's coming over, now these cousins are coming over, and now blah blah blah, because everyone wants to see the fucking baby. There's a newborn, and people really care about that. And they didn't have the means to prepare for company 10 days in a row.
Right.
So they said, let's just invite everyone over for 4 hours at a different house and just get it over with.
Gentiles do not have an excuse for that to happen. Judaism, you have the whole ceremony of a bris. I feel like that knocks out everything that occurred here. But no, all right. Yeah. Guess you gotta have an excuse. Guess you gotta have an open house.
Baptism.
Oh,
y'all Catholics, but
that's fair.
Baptism is
there's
the Gentile answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old are kids when they're baptized?
I mean, it's like early,
Okay.
First couple of months.
No.
Fair. Depends on your sect.
That's fair. I am the Scarlet sect of Pokemon and enjoying it greatly still. I just beat up a giant earthworm that's steel type for some reason. I don't know about that. Pretty cool, pretty fun Pokemon design though. Good game. There's so many critters. There's so many critters to run around and catch. I like it. I
just watched earlier today one of the more recent highlight reel videos that it was entirely Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And it started out with, today, all we got is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is a fucking train wreck.
I think it might be one of the best Pokemon games ever made.
And it was.
On a design level, on a story level, I think it's knocking it out of the park.
Okay.
I'm sorry, other people are not strong enough to appreciate
I'm glad
Pokemon.
That you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cyberpunk also kind of a perfect game if you think about it. One of the best of the last decade. And no one can tell me otherwise.
Oh boy. I've yet to have this Pokemon game give me a seizure, but I guess if it does,
you brought that up. I gotta chalk it
to you.
Literally a day one patch.
Also,
some of those clips that I saw would have given someone a seizure.
I haven't run into any of that, man. Like, yeah, the frame rate can tank a little bit here and there. Whatever. I'm not seeing any wacko shit. I don't know what other people are doing. I don't know how they're playing Pokemon wrong to make that happen, but not me. Aaron Rodgers played maybe his last game for the Green Bay Packers and beat the Bears. Hooray.
I think he's going to keep playing until we lose again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we probably won't be mathematically eliminated until we lose at least one more game.
It's one of those things where like we're not getting in. I saw what are our chances of like 5% of getting into the playoffs?
I mean, most of the reason that it's 5% is because like it's almost impossible for us to win the remaining 5 games.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, or wait, how many games do we have left?
We have 5 games
we have
left.
a bye week, so I think 4 games.
All right, four. You're right.
Yeah.
So if we won all 4 games, we would be 9-7.
9-8.
9-8. You're right. I forgot 17 games now. which is not good enough to get into the playoffs unless a couple of teams lose out completely. So
Weird.
I don't think it's that harsh.
I think aren't there 8 teams in the NFC ahead of us right now, record wise?
Yeah, there might be, but like unless everyone's at 9 wins.
Or sorry, I meant like 8 teams that aren't leading the division. So like those last 3 wild card spots
4
are up kind of between like 9 teams.
5. Oh no, I think there's 4. It's 5 if you count the Lions because they haven't played yet.
Okay.
I don't know. Until you get 3 teams with 9 wins, it'll who aren't leading their division, it won't be everyone else has to lose out. There's a million combinations. The main complication is how bad the NFC South is. In like a regular year, there'd be a lot worse wild cards, but right now, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of a log jam.
As it stands right now, the 3 wild card spots are whoever
NFC East.
Yeah, whoever doesn't win the NFC East.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, Packers look good. Packers are the winningest team of all time, baby.
Yeah.
The Bears held it for 102 years from the inception until literally yesterday.
And the dying visage of Aaron Rodgers said, I got it. This time it's me.
I mean, he owned them all of his fucking life. If that really was his last game against the Bears, he really did own them his entire fucking life. There is nothing else that can be said.
I'm glad Aaron Rodgers, we know now for a fact, he does not have any sense of self-awareness. I'm glad he had at least an iota to realize if he were to shout, I still own you, while having the record that the Packers have while playing the season he has played, it would have been pathetic, kind of. So I'm glad he didn't do that.
He did like a salute to the fans at Soldier Field. He was like, Aaron Rodgers, I'm out, motherfuckers. Hope you enjoyed the last, 14 years, however long it was. So, yeah, it was, I don't know. I was when Christian Watson took that, I was like, he's gonna score. This motherfucker's gonna score. Come on, like coaches have got to tell him to go to the ground at the 1. Like this is brutal, man.
As a fantasy owner, I'll take it.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Of course you're willing to excuse it. But no, I mean, we got the 2-point, but even that was risky.
Because... was Aaron Rodgers' last throw as the Packers a 2-point conversion to Mercedes Lewis? I'm sure he would love that.
Again, I think he's playing next week, but
yeah.
No, that was, I don't know, man. That's basic football shit. You're like, oh, a first down essentially ices the game. Definitely don't need a touchdown here with them having all of their timeouts. Like they are well within striking distance with like 1 minute and 50 seconds and all 3 timeouts to score a touchdown and tie the game. Like this is the last thing we need.
Christian Watson wants offensive rookie of the year. He's going to try to put on another couple of games of just unbelievable, just statistically improbable performance and try to win it with basically just the second half of the year playing football.
Who's on top of that? Is it Kenneth Walker?
I'd say Kenneth Walker and I mean Chris Olave the first maybe 2 months of the season, but like he's fallen off a little bit. So he's still up there, but I'd say it's those 3 guys right now.
Who? Kenneth Walker,
Chris Olave, and Christian Watson.
Oh, Chris Olave too. I see Dameon Pierce and Garrett Wilson as well being thrown around.
Oh yeah, I forgot Dameon Pierce is a rookie. Garrett Wilson's had like 3 total good games.
Christian Watson's had 4. Dameon Pierce has been kind of fading as a Dameon Pierce owner the last few games. He's just been a pedestrian running back. So, yeah. No, good for Christian Watson. He can pull it off.
Yeah.
That'd be neat.
Also good for Chainsaw Man fans. Last week episode, really good, blowing up. I forgot how hard a bunch of people dying unexpectedly hits people when you haven't read the manga. So yeah, congrats everyone enduring that. Rick and Morty, good.
I did watch it. I
Okay.
watched both the episodes.
Sorry, guys. You can talk about it. I'll watch it later.
I didn't think that they were quite to the same level that this season was previously. I think they got
fair.
a little too twisted into their Rick and Morty fucking meta knots that some of the earlier seasons were a little weak on.
Ryan, I know we were different communications majors tracks in college. Did any of yours involve learning about James Campbell? Because I had a class that was almost dedicated to that. So that cameo was a fun treat for me.
It's not James Campbell. What's his name?
Something Campbell. Was it?
Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell, sorry.
Yeah, it's Joseph Campbell. Yeah, no, you have to learn about that because that's narrative.
Jesus Christ, maybe I'm not an alcoholic. That was fun. No. And then we've all played Warzone 2.0. What are we thinking?
So
I've got a win under my belt. I don't know about y'all, motherfucker.
Oh my god.
I don't. I really want to play Warzone and DMZ like with you guys. Like I want to play with a squad full of my friends because right now I've played a little bit of duos with Ryan, a little bit of duos with Lucas. Ryan and I played a tiny bit of DMZ together. I played a decent amount of DMZ on my own.
We played a decent amount of DMZ. It just didn't ever go well. We didn't have any success.
I like it. I do like straight up like it. I mean, I hate the fucking inventory system of Warzone in general with the bags and shit, but like I'm having a good time with it. And I want to play more of it like with you guys and like some of our other friends. Because I think it's got promise.
Look, I'm and Warzone in general. We need you to drag us to victory because I was like, what do? Every time we would like every time we got in a vehicle to go do something fun, it would go horrifically for us. And it was just like, oh, okay, let's go do this little fortress thing because we can run there. And then we ran there and then the door didn't unlock. And we were just like, and then people showed up and we died. And it was like, all right.
Andrew, you and I, in one of the games we played, we had a glimmer of what Warzone could be with a group of people communicating where I think you were at the top floor of a building. I, from outside, saw two people walk in, alerted you to it. You were able to take out one of them by yourself. And then I realized I could jump into that building from where I was. And then together we took out the second person who was coming to revive their buddy. And that was cool.
Yeah, it was a cool moment.
But then, like, I don't know what we were thinking. We thought we could just hang out on top of a water tower or some shit. And no one will ever find us. And they found us immediately.
No one's going to know.
No.
I don't know. If you want to win, guys, you got to
get in trucks and just drive around the entire time.
Truck strat.
Truck strat.
You've got to get towards... like get basically to the end game. You maybe kill one team, but nothing too serious. Jump off a tower, fly into the middle of the circle, go into a tiny shack, go into the bathroom and close the door behind you. Have the circle close until it's basically the final circle on your little shack. Slowly emerge, kill one guy who doesn't know that you're in the bathroom in the shack, and then creep towards the end of the circle. Let every other team kill themselves until there's only one guy left, and then you 2v1 the last guy and you win the whole thing. That's the winning strategy I've found in Warzone 2.0 in my 5 games that I've played.
And like that's the appeal of the Battle Royale game mode, right? Like it definitely helps to be a master at first-person shooters. But also, if you get lucky and you play it really close to the chest, like, you got a shot. You can make it pretty far. Yeah. Is it going to look great on a Twitch stream? Probably not, but,
Yeah, sometimes you get spooked and you hip fire and you hit the guy in the head and you win.
It's how me and Andrew used to play PUBG back in the day.
Yeah.
We would hole up in a bathroom. We'd put an energy
just
drink
wait.
on the ground as bait so that people would come in, and then we would kill them with a shotgun like we were fucking burrowing spiders in like a funnel, trapping people and killing them.
Oh, you went
and
full
then taking
ant
their
lion.
loot.
I love it.
I had a moment a couple of matches ago that I was playing solo where I was holed up in like this gas station and I was on top of a shelf and I put a claymore down in front of one of two doors and I closed both of them and I heard a guy running outside and I like punched the wall so that he knew that someone was in there and he ran through the door and got blown up by the claymore and then waited. And I heard someone else running who was alerted by the noise and then closed the door again, went back on my shelf. He walked in and I shot him. And then the zone had moved. So I ran and I ran and I ran and I ran and I killed the guy on the way. And I got into a building and I killed another guy there. And I turned around the corner and a guy opened a door at the same time. And I shot him and killed him. And through voice chat, he went, "Oh, fucking camper." Like, no, that was before.
Yeah,
this
was
was a
moment.
straight one-on-one win.
Yeah. Voice chat.
I should mention that the follow-up to Andrew and I dying in that water tower was Andrew making it out of the gulag, parachuting onto the water tower to get our gear.
I thought the guys had left.
And then immediately being murked by presumably the same two people that had just killed us 3 minutes ago.
Well, I landed. They were on the other side of the water tower. I picked up my gun. It was empty, but I didn't realize it. I turned around the corner. They had their back turns to me. Pulled the trigger. It was empty. Switched to my pistol. Shot them 3 times, and then they, turned around and deleted me.
Boy,
because that's how it goes.
It really seems like that body armor does a lot more for everyone else in the game besides me.
Gotta get headshots.
Nah,
I'm not good at that.
No.
You can practice it in DMZ with all the fucking
bots.
NPCs running around. You can really work on your headshot aiming.
It took me a little bit in DMZ to figure out that there are different kinds of NPCs. There are some that are just weak little guys that aren't that good, and then there are super soldiers with a lot of armor and headshot aimbot.
Gotta watch out for the headshot aimbot, guys.
Yeah.
Just some grizzled fucking Middle Eastern war veteran. Just like
AI.
All right. Yeah. You gotta watch out for predator missiles and claymores and headshot AI that exists too. They immediately lock onto your head and put a bullet through your brain before you can react. It's pretty fucked. Watch out for them.
The Taliban do have Terminators now.
Yeah. They have used a learning AI to make a human killing machine.
It's common with AI. Yeah. You have to really wear your body armor.
I get, this is kind of a mini meme. The character Ghost is kind of blowing up a little bit because of the campaign of Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
I've seen way too many sexy cosplays of Ghost on the internet now, largely inspired by that scene, I think. I don't know.
I don't know the context of the scene. I just know the image where he's just like, fuck, like 1,000-mile stare looking at you. Like
I think it's supposed to be like a looking down on you kind of thing.
Right, like judgy.
Yeah. I don't know much about the context of that game either. I do want to say I saw a cutscene from it where like towards the end of the game, everyone's like, we're on our own. We're Ghost Squad. And like everyone puts on like their own version of a ghost mask. Like it's just a baklava with like a skull on the front. And Ghost takes off his cool mask and puts on the shitty ghost mask that everyone else is wearing. Like, why? Why did he do that?
He had an opportunity. He had an opportunity to be the Joker from the iconic opening scene of Batman. The Dark Knight? Dark Knight Returns, right? Is that one?
No,
the second
Dark
one.
Knight.
Yeah, the Dark Knight. Okay. He could have done that. He could have gone mask on mask, have fun with it. But okay.
Does anyone know how they retcon Ghost into being alive again?
I think he's just alive again.
it's like a completely different
This is like an
universe.
alternate universe now.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
a total reboot. Like it's all the same characters, but a completely different story.
This is Modern Warfare 2, but what if the writers realized, holy shit, these characters are super popular and marketable. We gotta keep them alive. And in other games, we're in different outfits, so we can sell those skins in Warzone. Yeah. All right. I think that's just about going to do it for episode 207 of the Voluntary Viewing podcast, which will almost certainly be titled, You'll Become Super Dead. If you like what you heard, like, comment, subscribe, etc. Check us out, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for highlight clips. ActBlue link in the description. Support us on Patreon and join the likes of the terrific Tiffany Cole, Sucky Badger, and Sensual Richard Nixon. Follow us on Twitter for updates at V2_podcast. Follow me at Lucas DeRider on Twitter to keep up with all of my writing and the anime live stream I'm doing for my 9 to 5. Also, watch out. We got the Voluntary Viewing 2022 top 10s coming sometime this month. It's our biggest podcast of the year. Keep an eye out for it. All right. Thank you all for listening and have a great week.